Hello and welcome to the Bustworthy YouTube channel. I am Matt Hartman, and today we are diving into another mock draft. I'm not gonna make it an official mock draft 2.0 or really graded or anything, but um, I want to do this because I do this every year with the combine. I did it last year right before I went to the combine. By the way, I'll be at the combine if you're an indie. Um, it's a very easy place to get for me, but um I always like doing the pre-combine mock draft. I don't know what it is. I think it's just one of those benchmarks, like when you do the Senior Bowl. You kind of have benchmarks in the draft season. You have the Senior Bowl, then you have the combine, then you're after pro days like that early April. So it's kind of good. Early February, kind of get it around Super Bowl. Um, that Super Bowl off period, that Pro Bowl time, and then you get to the combine, and then early April, and then right before the draft that week. So I thought this was a good time to do a little two rounder. I'm gonna do a 2 round mock draft. No trades. I'm gonna try and speed through this. I'm not gonna ramble about players like I normally do on my first round mocks, because I do like to ramble about players. It happens. No trades, so we're just gonna stick and pick. Caleb Williams, number 1 pick. I think it's pretty easy. His his natural arm angles, his natural arm talent. He is arguably one of the best prospects we've seen at the quarterback position in a long time, since Trevor Lawrence, since Andrew Luck. Should be a no-brainer pick. So I'm just gonna about Caleb Williams. Next I'm gonna get into Drake May. Drake May, again, just it's a quarterback needy team. Um, it it just makes a ton of sense. It's a hand and glove fit. He does all the things right, height, weight, speed kind of guy. I think there's a possibility. I I really don't. I don't want to entertain the idea of Jaden Daniels here. I don't. I think it's Drake May through and through. I think Drake May's the best quarterback on the board after Caleb Williams. It is, and the team needs a quarterback. So don't overthink it. Next we get into pick 3. This is where it gets interesting. Um, I could take Jaden Daniels here. I could take the best player in the draft, Marvin Harrison. I'm gonna do this just to entertain the idea, because I think there's a world this could happen, and people aren't really talking about it. And it's Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors being taken over Marvin Harrison. Why? Because I don't think Marvin Harrison early in the process. I thought Marvin Harrison early in this process was far and away the best receiver. I have now come around, and I think Marvin Harrison and Malik Neighbors are 1A, 1B. It's a flavor set. What flavor do you enjoy more? Do you want a guy who can get 0 to 60 in the blink of an eye, get the ball in his hands, and he's going to make plays after the catch while winning all over the field, in the slot, out wide, everywhere? Or do you want Marvin Harrison Jr., who has maybe the best catch radius? I'm just going to take him here, just so I kind of lump them together, but the Cardinals take Marvin Harrison. But or do you want a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr., who compares to A.J. Green coming out of college, who has this insane catch radius that is one of a kind, unique, but doesn't have the natural yak ability that a Malik Neighbors has, or a natural acceleration deceleration ability that a Malik Neighbors has? I have them graded very similarly. Marvin is my number 1 player, and I have he's kind of 1A, 1B with Caleb, and then I have Neighbors at 3. So I don't think this is an outlandish take to have. I just want to entertain the conversation, because I think there's a possibility Malik Neighbors gets taken over Marvin Harrison Jr. That's it for that conversation, or I will go all day about it. Number 5 with the Chargers. This is a classic trade down spot. I think if you miss out on the the 2 receivers, I think someone wants to get over the Giants to get Jaden Daniels. We don't have that at our disposal, so I am just going to take Joe Alt, because I think it fits the Harbaugh. Let's get in there and let's fix the trenches, boys. And I don't think he's going to come in and go, we got to compete year 1. He has Justin Herbert locked down. I think he's going to want to take a year, kind of naturally assess his talent, and the next year we're going to hit the ground running. And I think with pick 5, you want a guy who is going to help make Justin Herbert's life easier. And is that the best tackle in the draft, the most natural tackle in the draft, or is it Rome Odunze? Or even Brock Bowers. Throw in Brock Bowers too. It's up to him to decide. I'm picking Joe Alt here. Just pick the best tackle and find a spot on the field for him. He is one of your best 5. Get your best 5 out there for a great quarterback. Next we get into pick 6 with the Giants. This is where I'm going to take Jaden Daniels. Makes a ton of sense. You have an out with Daniel Jones after this year. He tore his ACL, so there's no guarantee he's going to be on the field week 1. I think there could be a market for Daniel Jones. I really believe that. I think teams could be scrambling for a quarterback, and if it's tough, if it's like he has an out after year 2, so a team could basically sign on for a 1-year, $30 million contract and then cut ties with him if they don't like what they see. The Giants, Jaden Daniels, dynamic, changes the game. They could take Rome Odunze here. They could take Brock Bowers here. Would make a ton of sense. Just get more pass catchers on the field for Daniel Jones. But if the third quarterback in this draft, who is a top 10 player to me, he's right on the cusp at number 10, falls to 6, I think you're getting a bargain. And of course, this is no trades. So, again, just want that to be reassured. Number 7, this is tackle all the way, but Joe Alt isn't there, so I'm gonna go a different way. I'm gonna go Brock Bowers here. I think it comes down to you get Brian Callahan coming from the Bengals, and you get Bill Callahan. Bill Callahan, one of the masterminds behind the O-line. It makes sense that they have a pick in the early second round, 38, I'm going to use on a tackle. Like, I'm going to, because I took Brock Bowers. And it's kind of prioritizing, do I want a very impactful pass catcher for Will Levis, or do I want to take the second tackle maybe I'm not sold on, get a height, weight, speed kind of athlete at tackle at 38? Do I want to do that? And that's what I'm opting to do with Joe Alt off the board, which maybe he is on the board. Who knows? Like, again, just strictly no trades, just doing it this way. Next we get into pick 8. This is pretty easily Rome Odunze. Pretty easily. Just get more playmakers on the field. I know it's another playmaker. 4 straight years taking skill positioning players, like if you count tight end. Kyle Pitts, then London, then Bijan, then Rome Odunze. It makes it puts them in a position to spend on a quarterback because your pass catchers are so talented yet so cheap. But we'll see how they address that. This could be J.J. McCarthy. I think it's way too early for J.J. McCarthy. I think it's way too early for any of the quarterbacks outside of the top 3 in the top 10. But, hey, quarterback's the most valuable position. I understand. If you have a decent grade on him, take him in the top 10. Next, we get into the Bears. This is where it gets weird. This is where I start to, like, do I want to start the edge run? Do I want to start the defense? Or do I just take my best player on the board right now in Olu Fashanu at a very valuable position, and you set up 2 back-to-back years? That's what I'm going to do. I just talked myself into it. You draft Caleb Williams. You want to get the best out of him year 1, most protection, things like that. So it makes a ton of sense. Just take the best tackle on the board, Olu Fashanu. Like, you have Braxton Jones. I know that you drafted Darnell Wright last year. But Braxton Jones is a good player. Don't let a good player stop you from taking a potentially great to elite player, which Fashanu has been compared to. So, makes a ton of sense here. For me, at least. Some people are probably screaming, take an edge. Then the Jets. This one's very easy. Just go to the tackle position. What do you want? Do you want the most polished tackle who can come in and start right away and be pretty good? Talise Fuaga. Do you want super size? Do you want a guy who is the pound for pound the strongest player in this entire draft, and he played at SEC competition, J.C. Latham? Or do you want a projection kind of, maybe he gets on the field year one, maybe he gets on the field year two? I don't know. You're kind of in the Rodgers hole. You're kind of just waiting on him. So it kind of eliminates Mims for me. But I have Latham graded just a little over Fuaga, but I'm going to take Fuaga here, switch it up. It makes a ton of sense. If you're on the Rodgers clock for the next 1 to 2 years, you want the better player for the next 1 to 2 years, which would make sense if they trade this pick for a known commodity, but who knows? I don't know. Then we get into the Vikings. The Vikings are weird. I've looked at the Vikings. The amount, like, I think I put Terrion Arnold here, who is a top 10 player for me. It's kind of wild how much capital the, like, top 2-day capital the Vikings have spent on DBs in the past 3 years. So I don't think Terrion Arnold is going to happen. I'm going to start the edge run in the projection that they tag Danielle Hunter, don't sign him long term because they let someone develop. Dallas Turner compares very well to that. Very elite athlete. He's going to test amazing at the combine if he does testing. You never know who's going to do testing anymore. But he's a freak of nature who has real production at Alabama's level. He was the Robin to Will Anderson last year, and he had great production last year. Let me check it out. I'm thinking of 2021 in limited snaps, but yeah, he has the production, he has the snap count, makes a ton of sense. Next, we get into 12 here. This is where, like, do I take JJ McCarthy just because, like, I kind of have to, because they have no answer at quarterback. They only have one pick in the top 2 rounds. Do you take the best player? I mean, you cut Randy Gregory, so you have a need at edge. You don't really need a corner. I'm just going to take JJ. I think it's just the easiest pick to make. Yeah. I mean, JJ McCarthy, 21 years old, just won a national championship. I think he's like 25-1. 26-1 as a starter, something insane like that. And he's only 21, so he's only going to grow into his body as he gets older and more mature. Sean Payton. The thing about JJ McCarthy, I will ramble about JJ McCarthy for a minute. JJ McCarthy is, like, you need a plan in place. As the Chiefs did with Mahomes, as the Packers did with Love. You need a plan in place for this player that I don't think you can just throw him to the wolves. He compares a lot to Zach Wilson to me. Not from, like, a production standpoint, but from a young, toolsy traits guy. You know, has the great arm angles, has a killer arm, 21 years old, played enough football that you believe that he can translate to the next level. But I think he's still he's scrawny, he's skinny. He's not a savior of your football team. He is not going to come in year one and tear it up like CJ Stroud did. He's not. And I think it would hurt his confidence and kill him if you throw him out there year one and it doesn't work. So that is why I am in the camp of, hey, re-sign Jarrett Stidham. Let's have Stidham run out there. Let's go get another pick. Let's reload. And then JJ's our guy next year. That's kind of the idea I'm putting in place here in my head canon. But who knows? They need a quarterback so damn bad. Maybe they just start him. And they don't, like, and Sean Payton goes, well, I can fix him. You know, just the arrogance that Sean Payton has. Believe me, I know as a Saints fan. Number 13, we have the Raiders. What do I want the Raiders to pick? What do we think the Raiders need? I'm just going to take the best player on the board for me. Terrion Arnold. They need a CB. It's that easy. Like, he's the cornerback 1 for me. I can't think of a real cornerback on their team at this moment. I'm really just blazing on by. But they have Max Crosby, things like that. It's too early for the next quarterback. It's way too early for one of those two quarterbacks in Nix and Penix. You could trade for Fields, but likely not because Getsy. The Saints. The Saints, I'm going to give them like it's Latham or an edge rusher. Like I would love one of these edge rushers, but I do think they opt tackle. JC Latham has been projected a lot to them, so let's just do it. Strongest player in the class is what the analysts out there say, the people on the inside say. So I'm gonna believe him. I'm gonna trust him. He's huge. I think he's like 340, 350 pounds. Massive human being. And did he started? Did he start both sides? My no, I'm hallucinating. He only started at right. My bad. I'm probably thinking of Caden Proctor, who transferred out. But yeah, J.C. Latham, tackle, need, fits. Then we get to the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts have a team name of receiver. They have Pittman, who could get re-signed. What else? I'm trying to think of their just needs. Like they have a need at D line. Like Buckner's getting older. DB is a need. Yeah. I think we give him a DB here. I'll give him a DB. I'll give him my CB2, Quinyon Mitchell. Quinyon Mitchell tore it up at the Senior Bowl. Height, weight, speed guy, long, fast, has all the coverage ability. He has unbelievable production. Do they show? They do not on here. Oh, they show forced incompletions. He had like 20 last year. So in a span of 2 years had nearly 40 pass breakups, which is unreal production at college level. He's from Toledo, small school, so people didn't know how he would translate. He went to Mobile and dominated everybody all 3 days. He stayed all 3 days and dominated all 3 days. And that's all you need to know. That was it was very noticeable how he was a man among boys. Next we get into the Seahawks. I love putting Byron Murphy here, and I think it makes a ton of sense. But like they don't need a corner. They drafted Witherspoon last year. JPJ has been gaining stock lately. Brian Thomas Jr. Like they don't need a receiver. They could take a tackle, but even then they would have to kick him inside. Like they don't have a need at some of these positions here. Like this is a trade down spot if I've ever seen one. Trade down, maybe take a JPJ, Troy Fautanu, maybe Grant Barton, depending on how you grade those guys. But since it's stick and pick, I'm just gonna take the best player on the board, and it's Jared Verse. It's not really a need for them. I know they have Boye Mafe. He would get on the field. I feel like he would get on the field for the Seahawks. Looking at this board, this is a board that heavily favors someone coming up and getting one of these corners that they love, or getting Byron Murphy. I'm just trying to switch it up because I have put Byron Murphy here in the past. But yeah, Jared Verse, good player, heavy hands. That's what you need to know. Then we get to the Jaguars. The Jaguars. This is weird. They could lose Calvin Ridley. If they re-sign Calvin Ridley, I wouldn't even consider Brian Thomas Jr. But Brian Thomas Jr. is a really good player. So I kind of just want to put as much around Trevor Lawrence as I possibly can. I'm gonna do Latu. Maybe it's I don't want to say it's a little too early. This is about where if this is me projecting if they get rid of Josh Allen, which could happen, but if it doesn't, then you have 3 great pass rushers and Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker, and Latu. That's insane production. You could do some crazy funky things with them. Byron Murphy also would make a ton of sense. But they have a lot of directions they can go. They need someone to hit, man. They need to hit. Next we get into the Bengals. This is where I'm going to put Byron Murphy. Byron Murphy, great, best D tackle in the class. He's intense. He has the best production of anyone. He played limited, and you could say the production. Oh, it's because he got so many one-on-ones with Sweat there, but he won the one-on-ones at an elite rate. If it will show me, yeah, his pass rush win rate off the chart, like everything off the charts, and he had a good run grade. He hasn't. I wanted him to weigh in at the Senior Bowl. He didn't go because he's just too good. But 308, he has the body type to be a 300-pound lineman at the next level. I don't see why he wouldn't. Without losing a lot of his, twitch and ability off the ball. But yeah. Then we get into the Rams. I'm just going to... Cooper DeJean. He compares a lot to Jalen Ramsey. Like, I'm not saying he's one of one with Jalen Ramsey, but his willingness tackling and his ability to... Is he a safety? Is he a corner? The reason he's called a safety is not because he's white. It's not because he's a bad corner. It's because he is the best tackling DB. He is the best athlete at the DB position. Anyone. I love Arnold, and DeJean's a better athlete, no doubt about it. I think he played quarterback in high school. But he compares a lot to Jalen Ramsey that I believe if you put them together, it'll work. It's kind of like, hey, let's move them around. I know they don't have Raheem Morris anymore, but still, he compares a lot to Jalen Ramsey, and I really like it, I'll be honest. But next we get to pick 20 with the Steelers. What do the Steelers need? Do they need, they don't need a quarterback. I think I've mocked them Brian Thomas Jr. before. He's probably the best player on the board for me here. Yeah. Yeah, he is. I'm looking at maybe Chop. Chop all the way at 44 is insane. Yeah, I'm going to give him Brian Thomas Jr. Makes a ton of sense. Best quarterback or best receiver outside of those top three. He's kind of in his own little tier here that I can see him going from pick 15 to pick 26. 26, yeah. Where I love Adonai Mitchell. He could get out of the first. All these guys could get out of the first round, and I wouldn't really bat an eye. I wouldn't freak out. Where if Brian Thomas Jr. got past 26, the Bucks, I'd be like, whoa, what's up with that? Why is that happening? But yeah, makes a ton of sense. The Dolphins. I took JPJ last time, so I don't want to do that again. I don't like repeat picks. Zach Frazier's been gaining a lot of steam as of late. Grant Barton, I know people kind of project him as a center at the next level, so he could do it. Amarius Mims is there. They just cut Xavier Howard, and I'm just saying, if you want a guy to come in and be his own corner, who did they hire as their DC? I can't remember off the top of my head. Because Nate Wiggins is a cover 3 corner through and through. Christian Wilkins could walk. Johnny Newton, sorry. He calls himself Johnny Newton. My apologies, Johnny. But there's a ton of picks here that could make sense for them. Do I just stick and pick with JPJ? I'm going to give him Johnny Newton. Why not? They let Wilkins walk. I know they have Zach Sealer there. Wilkins making sense walking. They just want to refill his production. Make a ton of sense. I'm going to put Nate Wiggins here for the Eagles. They just need CB. They need a DB. They need an outside corner, and I think Nate Wiggins projects with the two left, him and Kool-Aid, as the better one to project at the next level. But, yeah, pretty simple. The Texans are interesting. What could the Texans want / need? Jonathan Grenard is a free agent. Or Grenard? I don't know. one of those two. He is a free agent, so they could let him walk. Corner, they have Stingley, so McKinstry isn't really a must. I know people mock a receiver here, but I like their receivers. I don't think they need to touch it. I think they want a certain type of receiver. And I think the receiver is very deep in this class that you can find one later. I just want to run through the positions, see if I'm missing a player that I'm like, yeah, this guy would do great, would do wonders. Like Darius Robinson is cool. I really like Darius Robinson. He's one of my favorite players in the class because of his inside-outside versatility. I don't know what to do here with the Texans. Do I just give him Mims and like go figure it out? Because he's probably the best player on the board for me. Come on, Matt, make a decision. I'm gonna give him JPJ. He's probably the best player on the board. Why not? Why not keep beefing up Stroud? Keep doing that. Gives you more versatility in the run game because of his pulling ability. Very good. But yeah, one of the better players on the board. Maybe taking a more valuable position would make a lot of sense, but what's done is done. The Cowboys. What do the Cowboys need? They have running back as number 1 on their needs list. Dak's coming up for a contract. So is Micah. So they need to get those valuable positions. I'm going to take Amarius Mims because Tyron Smith might walk. Tyler Smith is very good as a guard, so you're not going to kick him back outside. Terrence Steele isn't good. So, yeah, tackle makes a ton of sense. I don't know why tackle isn't a need here. Tyron Smith is an outright free agent, and Terrence Steele sucks. So, yeah, that makes a ton of sense for me. The pack. I could see edge here. This is kind of just putting a guy... This is just me getting Chop in the first round because I love Chop Robinson. His off-the-ball twitch and his juice is incredible. He's going to be a combine freak. I'm so... Like, his timing of snaps, if he gets that first step, man, like the reason... I think he had an insane win rate. He had a 20.9. Like, most of that is literally just because he would time the snap correctly and off the line of scrimmage, just boom. He would just go. And he hits it hard. He's got the twitch. He's got the bend to do it. Then we get into 26, the Buccaneers. What do I want for the Buccaneers? Mike Evans could walk, so a receiver would make a ton of sense. Yeah, let's do it. Let's because they always seem to do that. Let's just 1-1. Let's go get Keon Coleman. Why not? Compares a lot to Mike Evans. Just vertical downfield, vertical ball winner. Period. And the thing about Keon compared to Mike Evans is you could get the ball in space and he could go too. But yeah, that's kind of a like if we let Mike Evans walk pick. I don't know, like this is pre-combine, so like free agency will iron out a lot of how teams will attack the draft. Then we get to the Cardinals, one of my favorite teams to draft for, because I think they have like, let me see trades. I'm not going to trade. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the top 100, 7 in the top 105. And they have picks on day 3. That's a lot to do. There's a lot to do with the Arizona Cardinals in this draft. This is a win draft for them. They took Marvin Harrison at 4. So I'm going to give them the best tackle on the board. And who might that be? There he is. Troy Fautanu. Troy Fautanu, best tackle. DJ Humphries getting up there in age. I'm kind of just, let's iron out an offense. Is Kyler Murray my long-term quarterback? Maybe not. But he's my quarterback right now. Let's put him in the best position. And if we have to move on from Kyler Murray, we have a position and situation set in place that we could drop a rookie in there, we could drop a veteran in there, we could drop whatever we want in there, and the quarterback will succeed because they have the talent around them. They have the protection. Makes a ton of sense for me. Next, we get into pick 28, the Buffalo Bills. Trying to think of their free agents. This is a big draft for them. I want them, like, if Brian Thomas has fallen to the 20s, I want them to go up to, like, one of these picks right here and just go get Brian Thomas, because that would be an absolute beautiful pairing. Brian Thomas Jr., Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, amazing. But that's not the world we live in, so I'm just going to give him Troy Franklin, another vertical downfield. Not really a ball winner, but he just gets downfield, stretches the field. He's better. He would do the same things Gabe Davis does. He'd probably do the blocking a little less because he's a little bit more slender, but he would win downfield more. It's kind of, you're trading off that blocking for this, which I think they still have Trent Sherfield. I don't know. He could be a free agent too. You could kind of replace his run blocking there. Match made in heaven for the Lions if this happens. Kool-Aid McKinstry. I think I had them trade up for Kool-Aid McKinstry last video, and here they have him falling to 29. But yeah, that makes a ton of sense for me. Makes a ton of sense. 30, the Ravens, they have a lot of positions to fill. They have a lot of positions to fill. I'm going to give him Darius Robinson. Kind of give him that inside-out versatility, because they are losing Metabike. They could lose Jadeveon Clowney. I assume one of those guys comes back, but if both of them are gone, Darius Robinson has the ability to do both. Do what both of those guys do. And he's a freak. He's a freak tester. Played at SEC level. All the stats are there, and he's about 290, yeah. Then we get to the Niners. This is just tackle all the way for me. Colton McKivitz just isn't it. Trent Williams is not getting any younger. Jordan Morgan, ton of sense. Don't question it. Then we get to the Chiefs. I'm going to give them Adonai Mitchell because he's the best receiver on the board, and he's really good at winning downfield. And it gives you another guy just to put in the offense who's a different flavor from Kelsey and Rashee Rice and could be productive. And he'll win downfield. There you go. I'm going to take a quick little pause, and I'll be back for round 2. All right. We're back into it. It probably was a half second for you. It was a little longer for me. I had to get some water. I felt my throat was getting a little too dry. Let's get back into the top of the second. This one is Ladd McConkey. If Ladd McConkey makes it to 33, sprint the card in, Carolina, because Ladd McConkey is going to create separation. He is going to give you a massive matchup mismatch. I don't know. Mismatch. I couldn't think of the word. I don't know what it was. But he's going to help Bryce Young, period. That's what you want. You want someone to help Bryce Young, either on the line or not. This is where the Patriots get interesting. Do we get a quarterback? Do we do that? I think we do. I'm going to take my next best quarterback, which is Bo Nix. I know some people are probably going, what? Michael Penix beat him twice. I think Bo Nix projects very well at the next level. He doesn't have an outstanding wide range of outcomes for me. I don't think he's ever going to be a top 5 quarterback. But at the same time, I don't believe that he doesn't have the tools to just be a top 15 to 20 quarterback for the next 7 to 10 years. And you're just plug him in, dropped, and it just works. So I'm going to put him there for now. And some people are, what the hell was that? Some people are probably like, oh, they should trade for Justin Fields. Oh, you should have just taken Jaden Daniels. I think getting Malik Neighbors and Bo Nix is a pretty good first 2-round haul for the way team building is. Just me. Because I think you're getting good value at both positions, and they're both very valuable. So, next we get to the Cardinals again. They have Marvin Harrison, and then I took Troy Fautanu. So, do we focus on the defense? We do. Let's look at the edge rushers on the board. Who is the best edge rusher on the board for me? It's probably Jonah Ellis. Braylon Trice, very productive. Adisa Isaac is very good. Austin Booker, I'm certain to have him drafted here soon. I'm going to go with Braylon Trice. Has the best production. I think you can do a lot of different things with him, which I think that Gannon likes to do with his D linemen. So let's throw Braylon Trice in there. He's kind of on the cusp of the edge rushers there. Then we get to 36 with the Commanders. They have tight end, O-line, edge needs. They took Jartavis Martin and Emmanuel Forbes last year, so I don't think they're going to go DB. Linebacker, it's too early. Edge could happen because they just don't have anybody besides like KJ Henry, I think, who they took last year. Receiver would make a ton of sense because there's really good receivers on the board. It's just a deep class for that position. But I'm going to go edge. I'm going to go Jonah Ellis. I think he's just the next best guy on the board. Makes a ton of sense. He could do everything from a pass rush standpoint. He's a good enough athlete. He has NFL lineage, and he has consistent moves. He has consistent moves that he wins with, which is impressive to see always. The Chargers, this is where Roman Wilson comes in. He's got to take a Michigan guy, right? I think it makes a ton of sense. Roman Wilson does a lot of things Ladd does. A lot of things, like I compare Ladd to, to Amon-Ra, and I think Roman Wilson compares a lot to that too. He's a lot of juice out of the slot. He's not, overwhelming size, but he is 6 feet. Not too young, not too old of a guy. And he's Michigan, so Harbaugh's got to take a Michigan guy, right? And Corum, it's way too early for Corum. Next we get into pick 38. This is where I take a tackle. This is where I take Tyler Guyton, probably. Yeah, he's the best tackle on the board. Great size. He showed flash at the Senior Bowl. Again, I said I would take Bowers. I would take a tackle here. He has the translatable skills. I think Dane Brugler has him as a top 20 player. So high praise for him. I don't have him as a top 20 player, but I do think he is a top 40, top 45 player. No doubt about it. Next we get into the Giants. They took a quarterback in round 1. They have 2 seconds. Trying to think of, like, is there a glaring need? Like, we could get Juice the receiver room, Xavier Worthy, but you have, I do like Jalen Polk here. Yeah, I'm going to take Jalen Polk. I think Jalen Polk is just, he's going to be like, he projects a lot like Chris Godwin. That I don't, like, Chris Godwin's just a quiet 750 to 1,000 yards if he's healthy, and he could be your quarterback's favorite receiver because he's just always going to win from the slot, and he's not, like, that's just what he is. Like, I think he's a big slot because he's like 6'2", 205, something like that. Yeah, nearly on the nose. So it makes a ton of sense that I think you just play him in the slot and he figures it out. Next we get into the Commanders again. We took an edge, so let's go somewhere else. Let's go with Zach Frazier. Zach Frazier has been picking up steam lately. Very good center. I don't think they have a center. I really don't. See, like, that's the thing. Some people are going to, like, come in the comments and be like, we have this center, Maybe they sign a center. I don't know right now. I'm taking the best player on the board. For me, Zach Frazier's been gaining some steam, so let's do that. Then we get to the Packers. Who did I pick for the Packers? Chop. I picked Chop. So probably offense here. Likely. Ennis Rakestraw is interesting. They could double up on defense. I don't know a lot about their defensive coordinator who comes from Boston College. I really don't know much about him that I can project him. Why did I click receiver? I don't think they need skill positions. It's all dependent on, like, do they like Graham Barton as a guard? I'm going to take him because it's just the best player on the board. But, yeah, Graham Barton. Just get an offensive lineman in there. He doesn't have to start year one. Then we get to Minnesota. This is where I'm going to take Penix just to get the quarterbacks off the board. He could work well there. Michael Penix is the most polarizing prospect for me because there's so much going for him. There's so much going against him that, like, in the beginning, I didn't like him. I just didn't. I kind of nitpicked him a little bit too much. Like, I don't like his bottom half when he throws. I feel like he throws against his body a lot. But then you kind of get into it, and you're like, man, this guy might be the best pocket passer in this entire class. He doesn't take sacks from the pocket. I learned that, like, a few hours ago, that this guy has a historic, in comparison to the last decade, has a historic sack rate. Like, it's in the bottom 5%. And only Anthony Richardson has about the same as him over the last decade of quarterbacks drafted. So that's crazy to think about. He just doesn't take sacks. He just doesn't do it. And that's a good quality to have. I don't know where Penix is going to go. I really don't. But he's fun to talk about. Yeah, he has a great situation going for him. He has a live arm. He is an inevitable player. The way I explained it, like, against Texas, he was inevitable, man. He was very, very good. So, I don't know. That could happen, though. Makes a ton of sense. They want a quarterback. Then we get to the Falcons, who are bummed because they can't trade up in my NFL. But they took a receiver. I think they just need bodies in the edge rusher room. I'm going to give him Austin Booker here. I kind of just want to talk about Austin Booker is going to be an insane athlete at the Combine. That is what the rumor is. He is going to rise up boards tremendously. He has only 500 career snaps in D1 football. So I don't know how he projects. But if he's a Combine warrior, we saw Trayvon Walker jump from the 20s to number 1. Austin Booker's kind of getting round 3 buzz right now. He could certainly jump into the top 45 picks. Then we get into the Raiders. Again, I did that again. I took Arnold, right? Yeah, I took Arnold. So, quarterbacks are gone. You filled DB. Linebackers aren't really a need. I know they like Spillane. Could they get a tackle? Kingsley Suamalate. He could be taken here. I think I'm gonna take him. Yeah. I'm gonna take the tackle. Again, just putting people on the board. Just looking at the board, I don't know. Like, that you could take Braswell. You already filled corner, so none of these guys are really major needs. Then we get to the Saints. My team, the New Orleans Saints. The quarterbacks are gone. They took a tackle. So, like, D-line makes a ton of sense here. Chris Jenkins would make a ton of sense. Do I just put Tavondre Sweat here? Hook 'em horns for the Saints? My heart would love that. Adisa Isaac, he's not really a Saints player at edge. He doesn't hit the threshold, I think. They also took edge in the same spot last year. Early second round in Isaiah Foskey, so maybe they don't double up. I'm I'm gonna go Newbin. Yeah, I'm gonna go Newbin. The Saints, Marcus May and Tyrann Mathieu both are older prospects, and just looking at the way the board shakes out, I think Newbin's kind of the best need on the board. Depending on what they do with Lattimore, maybe a corner is in play, like Rakestraw, but not now. I'm gonna take Rakestraw for the Colts. I took Quinion Mitchell earlier. Oh my goodness. I thought I gave them a receiver. I'll be honest, guys. Oh, I messed up there. No, but Rakestraw's a really good player. I know they have Kenny Moore as a free agent, who is a slot too. I'm getting 2 outside corners. Why not? Why not? I messed up a little bit there, but that's okay. That's okay. We're good. That's fine. The Giants, yet again. Giants took Jalen Polk. They took Jalen, Jatavian, Jermaine. I don't know. What do I want to do with them here? Saquon's going to be gone, so running back could be in play here. But I don't think I'm not. He's at 111. That's crazy. I have Trey Benson really high. But I'm just going to go with Braswell. I think he's the best edge rusher on the board here. In comparison, you know, like I think Xavier Thomas is underrated. He could sneak up, but Braswell's the best edge rusher left on the board. This is where IOL comes in play. The Jaguars have to take an interior guy. I think it's no doubt about it. I'll give him just Christian Haynes, because I think Christian Haynes projects in that second round. Then we get into the Bengals. Kind of just filling out needs here. I'm not going to go into prospects anymore. Kind of just going to fill out the needs. Look at the team and be like, and assess their needs from there. Jatavian Sanders, right? Like I didn't take Bowers for them. Like I couldn't. Yep. Jatavian Sanders, pass catching tight end, makes sense for them. The Eagles. This is where the Eagles get interesting. Trotter. I know Trotter is a big buzz name for them. I'm gonna take Peyton Wilson, best linebacker on the board. Like it's him and Colson neck and neck for me. I'm taking Peyton Wilson for you know who out there. Pointing to you, buddy. Did that for you. But yeah, I think Peyton Wilson has the best tape of any linebacker in the class. He has the health scares, so I mean he could drop really low, but I think he's a top 50 player when you compare tape and you're not scared off by the medicals. But then we get to the Rams. The Rams, they find Kobe Turner last year. They have Aaron Donald, so they don't really need D-line. I'm going to give him Adisa Isaac because I took Cooper DeJean. They have Ernest Jones. Yeah, I'm not seeing like they could take a receiver, right? They could. Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah, let's give him Worthy. Let's give him this Cooper Kupp inside and outside slot. Puka, who's this again, kind of the same feel, and you just have a burner in Xavier Worthy. You just have a burner. Everyone can get the ball in their hands and make plays. Yeah, I like that. I never really thought about that until now. That's kind of interesting. The Rams are so interesting to draft for because you could really talk yourself into any player being good there. The Steelers, I took Brian Thomas, so probably a DB. TJ Tampa makes a ton of sense. Mike Sanders still. Do they need a slot? I'm gonna go Kamari Lassiter. Yeah, I think he projects as a good outside corner, so I do like that. Big school. I think TJ Tampa is kind of a zone guy, so I don't know how he projects to Pittsburgh, but yeah. The Dolphins, I took JPJ for that, or Johnny Newton, so I didn't take an interior lineman. I can take an interior lineman here. They cut X Howard, so they have a need. Sandra Still, again, very good. Is there anyone down here? Man, Kalen King. Woof. He fell far. DJ Tampa's the best corner. Like, he projects as an outside corner, so I'll take him. Next to Jalen Ramsey. I know they do have Cam Smith, though. They took last year, so maybe. But they double up on defense. They'll figure it out on the offensive side in my world. The Eagles took a linebacker, took a DB. Do I just want to keep the trend going? Do I take a D lineman? I know Howie loves his trenches. So, like, Pat Paul, he's huge. Yeah. I'm going to give him Pat Paul here. Just a big, long, height, weight, speed guy that I think they don't start right away. Because he's got to take the trenches at some point. Let's just take a massive flyer, a freak, who projects like Mailata, and you get him in the building, and you go sit behind Lane Johnson. Go. He's going to tell you everything he knows. And you go from there. And then you're going to talk to Jeff Stoutland. And you're going to go from there. The Cleveland Browns, first appearance for the Cleveland Browns. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do here. I'm going to go, like, what do they need? They need a receiver is a need. Cooper is older. Yeah, I can justify it. It's not hard. It's weird with the guys on the board. Jermaine Burton's really good. I'll just give him Jermaine Burton. Jermaine Burton's probably the next best receiver. Maybe Tez Walker and Corley followed up on him for me. This is where the running back, I think, is going to start. I wonder who they take. I'm just going to give the Cowboys my number one running back, which is Trey Benson. I mentioned him a little bit. I think he has the best ability to become an every down back in comparison to everyone in this class. Does he achieve that? I don't know. But I think of the guys, you want a start now, produce now running back. I think he is the best combination of everything, where all these guys like have a little bit. I think they have a kryptonite where I think Trey Benson is kind of good at everything. Has juice, has break tackle, good break tackle numbers. Then we get to the Packers. Packers have a running back as a need. That's kind of funny. Like Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon are still there. I'm going to take Sandra still. Just good player. Just a good player. And then I'm going to go Adisa Isaac for the Bucks because I gave them Coleman. Yep, I knew. Sandra still digging from that Michigan pipeline again for the Packers like they did Rashawn Gary. Texans, let's give him like Edge Cooper. I'm just like looking at the top names. This is dangerous. I'm going to give him Junior Colson. Junior Colson's best linebacker on the board. Edge Cooper, I just mentioned it because it'd be funny with him and Christian Harris running around. Just two light, super speedy linebackers running around in the box. That'd be funny. Junior Colson's really good, though. The Bills. The Bills are interesting. I think I just keep plucking from the Michigan pipeline and go Chris Jenkins because they could lose Epinesa. I think Ed Oliver is a free agent. Don't quote me on that. So I'm going to just keep picking from the Michigan pipeline as I have in the last few picks. Go Chris Jenkins. The Lions, they need an interior lineman. So I'm going to go Pooney. I think Kansas is Pooney. He projects as a guard. So I like that pick. The Ravens, again, have a ton of needs. I gave them Darius Robinson, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I did. They could take a corner. They have Kyle Hamilton. They have Marcus Williams. They don't really... Like, Jaden Hicks is more of a... I think... He's okay. He played a lot of box and slot. He played a lot of star, so he could be a nickel at the next level. I think he projects as a nickel. Pearsall's interesting. If they lose Odell, Johnny Wilson, Leggett. Ooh, I'll give him Leggett. Leggett's fun. That's just a different flavor in the room for them. They have Bateman. They have Zay they drafted last year, and then they get Leggett, who's a big body, contested catch guy. That'd be interesting. And then we get to the Niners. What do the Niners really need that I'm like screaming to go get? Like, I got them a tackle. Right? Who did I get them? Jordan Morgan, yeah. I got them a tackle, so I don't know what I'm like freaking out to get here. Maybe you take a receiver, kind of like with a backup plan if you move Ayuk next year, because you could tag and move him. That could make sense. Jaden Hicks, I like him on the board. I don't think you need a running back. Malachi Corley compares to Debo. Debo comp. A lot of people do that. Cam Kinchins it's interesting. He's very low down here. He played a lot of star. No, he played a lot of deep. I'm thinking of 21. What are they like? What am I looking at? Like, I'm trying to think of the roster that I'm like, man, they need a starter here. And I can't find it. I really can't. So I'll just go with the receiver. I'll go with Pearsall. Why not? Like, I think Corley is interesting, but he compares so much to Debo. Like, he's not one of one Debo, but he is a ball in space kind of guy, so it does make sense. Maybe they take Brendan Rice, Jerry Rice's son. That'd be funny. But, like, I think Tez is up there. You could take Tez. And then we get to the Chiefs. The Chiefs need a DB because I think they lose Snead in this offseason. So, they have a slot. Let's just give him Kyrie Jackson. Yeah, he's a bigger body guy. All right. Well, that's 2 rounds of a mock. So that was fun. 60 minutes. Just about. Again, you can see who I picked. Go back and look. I don't think, if I got something wrong, tell me in the comments. I will be in Indy for the Combine. So if you see this before Indy and you're going to be at the Combine, maybe you'll see me. I'll probably be wearing an Arch Manning Texas jersey one of the days, probably the quarterback day. So maybe you'll see me. Maybe you'll be like, hey, that guy mocked me, a player I didn't like. So I'm going to go tell him about it. You should do that. That'd be pretty cool. I like that. Because I like talking ball with so many different people. Follow the podcast on Spotify, Busworthy, same as the YouTube channel. That'd be awesome. If you made it to the end of the video, comment the secret word. Comment purple. Comment purple. If you comment purple, I can't guarantee you anything, but I will say that I'll shout you out in the next video. If you say purple, I will shout you out in the next video. I'll do that. That sounds fun. But, hey, 64 picks. You learned some of the names. That's cool. But, yeah, that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed this mock draft Monday. Have a great Combine weekend, week and weekend. I will definitely have a fun time. Quarterbacks will be coming later this week. I promise. Probably around, Friday morning, maybe Friday night, because the quarterbacks do throw on Saturday. So kind of get you a primer for those quarterbacks. Maybe Thursday. Who knows? I don't know. But that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching this whole video. I really appreciate it. I'm rambling. Links in the description. My Twitter. if you like tweeting and you like people talking about ball on Twitter, go over there. But that's it for me. Thank you so much, and see you in the next one.